The dagger flew through the air and embedded itself into the hard flesh of the tree dozens of feet away. Claire had an arm stretched out after following through with the throw. The sound could be clearly heard from where she was standing, a satisfying thunk of the metal piercing the wood. Returning her arm to her side, Claire grinned and looked at Hannah. Next is my turn. Hannah pulled out her throwing dagger. Lifting her hand, she lightly held the grip of the dagger. Swinging it forward, it was released from Hannah's grip, her fingers lightly brushing the dagger as it flew from her grasp. Without even spinning a full rotation, the dagger slightly tilted forward and made a similar thunk as it bit into the tree. Hannah jumped up and down after seeing the weapon she had made from scratch pierce into the wood. Seeing Hannah react in such a manner made Claire happy, making her grin wider. She looked around at the forest they were currently inside of the simulation close to the village, using the first portal. Too bad we only have the one dagger. Claire laughed as the two of them headed to the tree to recover their weapons. After they'd finished making the throwing daggers, both Claire and Hannah had determined it'd be a good idea to test how effective the weapons were once they were finished. Since the town with the mine didn't have many trees, it was determined that the first portal where they fought the armored bear was a better choice. It had likely been an hour of them throwing the daggers and walking over to recover them. Claire enjoyed the feeling of her weapon leaving her grasp and making the thunking noise. Each time, the dagger was deeply embedded in the flesh of the tree. Just imagine if we had 20 of these daggers, Claire said to Hannah as she placed a hand on the grip, yanking it out of the tree. She grunted, having to put her body weight into the action of yanking the dagger due to how deep it was. There was a grunt as Hannah yanked her own weapon out. The real question is whether this will work against the monster. Trees make good targets since they don't move. At least these ones don't, Claire joked, though part of her wondered if there were monsters that looked similar to the trees. She couldn't help but look around, even with the certainty that such monsters didn't exist in the vicinity. Lightly tossing the weapon in her hand, Claire felt that improvements could be made. The balance is off, and not by a small amount. I'll need to work on fixing that error for the next round of daggers, she thought to herself. What do you think about grabbing some food? Hannah asked as she practiced twirling the dagger in her hand. When the dagger fell to the ground, she picked it up for the 100th time. Claire giggled. You've been trying to do that ever since we made these daggers. Are you thinking of going fully cold weapons? Making a face, Hannah shook her head. I like my rifle and pistol too much, though I hope to get better ones in the future. I'm just trying to get a better feel of the dagger. If we're going to make more of these things that people will want, I figured it's important to be able to gain a strong proficiency in them. Honestly, that's probably right. Just throwing the daggers, I could tell that there's a lot of improvements we can make. The balance is too much on the blade side. Claire tried to do the same thing Hannah was practicing on, immediately dropping the dagger to the ground. Not easy, huh? Hannah laughed before her dagger also dropped to the ground. Oh, and I'll be enjoying the food you buy me, she laughed. Sighing, Claire said, You may have won this time, but don't think you'll always be on top. She glared at her friend, feeling determined to make a better dagger on the next round. Maybe we should try and see who can make the most daggers in the day. Hannah tapped the point of the dagger on her chin as she thought about what they should compete on next.